So now let's talk about setting variable data types. The first thing we want to do is open up a new Flash file. So let's create a new one from the welcome screen. And let's just name layer 1 actions. Click on the first frame of the actions layer and press F9 on the PC or Option F9 on the Mac and open up the actions panel. Now let's create that username variable that we were talking about before. So to create a variable, the first thing that you need to do is type the word var, that's V-A-R, and then type a space. Var is a keyword in Flash. Notice that it turns blue when you type it. This word says, I'm going to create a variable. So after the space, then you type in your variable name. So var has to always be var. Your variable name can be whatever you want. Let's just say we're creating a username for a website. So I'm going to type user and then name with a capital N. And you're under the same restrictions of spaces and special characters with variables as you are with instance names and symbol names, etc. Again, no spaces, no special characters. Best practice, start with a lowercase letter. And then each subsequent word, start with a capital letter. That way it's easy to read. So username, and then type a space, then an equals, and then a space. And let's say our username is going to be a text value. That type of data is called a string. A string can be any combination of numbers, spaces, special characters, all that stuff. So when you're defining a string in Flash, the string needs to be in quotes. So if the username were to be Todd, I would type open quote and then Todd, close quote, semicolon. So username equals Todd in quotes. And that means it's a string of text. It doesn't have to be Todd, obviously. You can be anything you want. I just made it up because it's my name, first name I thought of. But it needs to be in quotes because it's a string. Now, here is the setting the variable data type that's very important. When we're defining variables, the best practice and very important thing that you can do is specify what type of data is going to be held inside of that variable. Sometimes you'll hold a variable that holds numbers. Sometimes you'll have a variable that holds text or whatever. The way that you specify what type of data a variable will hold is after the variable name. So I'm going to click right after username, not a space after it, just immediately after the E. Put your cursor right there, then type a colon, and then another code hinting menu pops up. This time, the code hinting menu is letting you assign a data type for your data that your variable is holding. Because, like I said earlier, this data type is a string, I'm going to type the word string. Make sure you give it an uppercase S. So uppercase S, T-R-I. Oh, and it's already highlighted. I'm going to press return or enter on my keyboard, and Flash types out the rest for me. So we created a username that's a string, and it's equal to Todd. I can put any value I want in here. Sammy, Bob, Jimmy, doesn't matter. Any kind of username inside of the quotes, and that will be acceptable. So why do you want to assign a data type to a variable? Basically, it will help you later on with your code because sometimes you're going to put the wrong type of data inside of a variable and you want Flash to tell you that so that you know that you're making a mistake in your code and it's not something else. And so that is how you assign a data type to a variable and define a variable. In the next movie, we're going to use something called the trace statement to check a value inside of a variable.